welcome back again to my friend on YouTube. Wow. Saturday's games have gone on. Exciting stuff in the English Premier League, in the Spanish La Liga. Brilliant football from across Europe. And that's exactly why we are here. We're going to look into all the games that have gone on Saturday. Some of the brilliant stuff. Earlier on the show in the morning, I did predict an Arsenal win. Arsenal got a very good win, 2-1 last minute goal from Cunha. Nearly made it, a fight. Arsenal scored 2 early goals. Girona up there, brilliant football. They went down by a goal to 0 in the first half. Second half, one splendid change. An old man came on, did a job for Michel's team, and then they are up there. But later on, Madrid did come on, did a brilliant job. 2 goals, 2-0. Real Madrid are in there, back on top of the Spanish La Liga. Tomorrow, there are huge games. But just before that, there was also that big game at Newcastle under the floodlights at Tyneside, where Newcastle have annihilated Manchester United. We'll talk about all of that. My name is Fiifi-Manfred. There's a Fiifi-Manfred on YouTube. You don't want to miss all the juice that are for you. Of course, if you're not subscribed to the channel, do what subscribe to the channel. We do a lot of football tactical analysis here. Do what subscribe to the channel. It is Fiifi-Manfred on YouTube, and you want to subscribe to the channel. So guys, let's get straight into it. First of all, let us start from the Italian Serie A. There's going to be a bigger game tomorrow where Internazionale Milan will go away to Napoli to try and get a win to take them back. But on Friday, Juventus did a brilliant job. Juventus did an outstanding job where Federico Gatti got the winner in the dynamism of the game. I think it was 90+4. He got an all-important goal for Juventus in there. And Juventus are back at the summit of the Italian Serie A. And tomorrow, there's a big game between Napoli and then, of course, Internazionale Milan. But then, in the games that went on today, apart from the one on Friday, was the Lazio game that they played. Lazio, brilliant football. They have been reporting in Italy that Mauricio Sarri has been thinking of putting down his tools and then stopping the job at Lazio. But then the last 2 games that seem to be good qualification in the Champions League. And then this one that they've had in the Italian Serie A seems to be a good one for them. So the Italian Serie A will actually come to full party tomorrow when Internazionale Milan go away to Naples to go and play Napoli. But then let's go straight into the Spanish La Liga. That is where all the juice is. So nobody thought that Girona were going to be joint top of the Spanish La Liga with Real Madrid and with the same number of points. Next year, they are playing Barcelona. Barcelona will play tomorrow against Atletico de Madrid at home. But then mind you, Atletico de Madrid have had very good time against Barcelona in recent times. They tend to get the results against them. They tend to play some good football against them. Now, Simeone Inzaghi has switched, El Chojo has switched from the regular 4-5-1 to a 3 at the back, which is more pragmatic. He has a lot of the ball. He dominates a lot of central areas, plays some exciting football, and that's exactly where he wants to play the kind of football. So tomorrow, he is going to play against Barcelona, and it's a big one. But let's talk about that Girona game first. Boy, see, if you are not taking Girona serious, it is time you take them serious. If for any reason you've decided not to take Girona serious, you ought to take them serious now. There are 2 teams in Europe now that you ought to take serious. The story of Xabi Alonso, the story he's writing in Leverkusen. And one day I'll do a proper in-depth tactical analysis of how he loves the verticality of football, how he constantly wants to play forward, and his use of set pieces in terms of constantly and quickly keeping the intensity by having quick throw-ins. That's exactly what Xabi Alonso is doing in Germany. And he is giving Bayern a hell of a time. Everybody knows that it's almost impossible for you to beat Bayern in the German Bundesliga. But he's doing a very good job at that in the German Bundesliga. I think the game that he had today was postponed or so. I don't know if it was the Mönchengladbach game or the Leverkusen game. But then, that's exactly what Xabi Alonso is doing. So there are 2 managers, himself and then Michel. Michel at Girona, these are substandard players. These are not players that are of the finest technical quality. Today, he was down by a goal to 0 against Valencia in the first half. Control the game, control large spells of the game, had total dominance from the back to the front, and then essentially just made one master stroke change by bringing on Christian Stuani. If you know Christian Stuani, of course, I know that you are an old follower of the game. Christian is 37 years of age. He brought him on. Christian got the equalizer and got a winner. Just one change. This is a game where Valencia tried to make things very difficult for Girona by sitting very compact, making it difficult for them to play out of the back, sitting in a deep block, sometimes even a mid block, and shuffling in between there. It was a very, very difficult game for Girona. But they managed to control the game, keep it at 1-0. And then immediately that Christian Suwani, whose presence in the box was very important, his height, his physicality in the box, gave the Valencia centre backs a run for their money. They were able to get those 2 goals and they did win. And it sets the tone for that game that Real Madrid were going to play against Granada at home. And this was a Real Madrid side that had played high-octane football against Napoli in midweek. And everybody was asking, can they replicate same against Girona with the same starting lineup? Mind you, Cruz, Tchouameni, Camavinga, Federico Valverde, all of these guys have had some form of injuries in recent times and they were all not fit for the game. So he maintained the same lineup, albeit he brought on Brahim Diaz and then Joselu into the team. Yes, this was a game where Jude Bellingham didn't score a goal, but he was integral from that left side, the left-hand space where he did a job very simple. And that's one thing I tend to like about Jude Bellingham. When he isn't scoring the goals, he tries to control the tempo of the game with the simple passes, calming down the game, not necessarily rushing to play forward. He keeps the tempo at a mild level as when Madrid needs it, and he did a very good job. Himself and Toni Kroos in the middle of the park. There was Federico Valverde at some point in time. Not Federico Valverde, Brahim Diaz in there. And they were able to form a very good midfield quartet where they played forward very well and they formed a base where they also worked very hard. And I think that's one thing I've seen with Ancelotti's team. In terms of his automatisms, even the guys that sit on the bench, when they come on, they get his automatisms and they're able to play exactly how Ancelotti wants them to play. And the fact that his teams tend to work very hard and create a lot of chaos. And that's how they tend to thrive, even when there are a lot of injuries and whatnot. I think this season too, also, one person that deserves a lot of praise is Antonio Rudiger. He has done excellently well in terms of defending in transitions in there. He has done a brilliant job at that. And I think that it has helped Madrid so much. Carvajal went off in the first half. Then there was a change at the time where Madrid made a change. Carvajal went off. There was a change in there. Mendy played at the under wing, and the 2 centre backs were, of course, Alaba and then my man Rudiger. And then in the middle of the pack, Toni Kroos, Brahim Diaz at some point in time. Then there was Jude Bellingham in there. And a very good 4-4-2. Up top was Rodrigo Goes, and then of course Joselu in there. So it was an exciting game of football. Madrid did win 2-0. First goal from Brahim Diaz, and then the next one from the man Rodrigo in the second half, and then he nailed it for the team that scored Real Madrid. And that sets the tone for tomorrow's game. Barca needs to try and win to keep up with Girona. If they don't, and then they lose to Girona, then it means that if Barca loses tomorrow, they lose to Girona, they're already 4 points behind it. They're going to be 10 points Girona, and we've not even gone halfway of the season. And it's just going to put in perspective how much of a job Xavi has to do to defend this title that he won last season. And it's going to be very, 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 very difficult. In fact, the game tomorrow against Atletico Madrid is going to be difficult. That's not why we are here. So that's just with the Spanish La Liga and the games that have gone on today on Saturday. And also, if you look at Real Madrid, they've done a brilliant job. They go into the next set of games calm, waiting to get a job and waiting for Girona to slip. Of course, everybody will put their money on Real Madrid, but Girona will be on the leg. And it's going to be some story if they're able to get something at all from this this term in the Spanish La Liga. Now, in the English Premier League. So you see, Arsenal are on next level. Arsenal don't tend to create the most chances this term. They don't score the most goals this season, but they have loads of control. And you see this by having Martin Odegaard drop into central areas to come and effect play. He comes centrally, receives the ball, and then teams tend to chase him. If you watch the game they played against Everton, Abdoulaye Doucouré will constantly chase him into central areas. Amadou Onana will do same, and that's to open up spaces for guys like Leandro Trossard and then Xhaka out wide. And that's where Arsenal are now. It's about control and then making sure they score from other things other than just scoring from open play, like set pieces and even the half chances that they get. And they got a job done today. 2 early goals. They had a lot of control throughout the game. Got into the dying embers of the game. Matthias Cunha got a job done. And if you just juxtapose the statistics of Arsenal, last season, by this time, they were second, but they were creating the most chances. They had a better XGs. But this time, they have control, and then they are not creating the better XGs, but then they are on top of the league. And that's exactly the importance of having control, especially in your run to win a league. But sometimes in stability, you don't necessarily need control. You just need to create better exits. You need to play some good football and then get some very good confidence in there. So that's the story of Arsenal Football Club. And then the big one that went on, it just ended: Manchester United versus Newcastle. So you see, when Chelsea were going to play against Newcastle, I titled that video "Control, Not Chasers." Controllers, not chasers. And I'm sure people do not understand. When you play against Newcastle, you don't want to chase them. You don't want to be the chasers. You don't want to go chasing them. You don't want to chase them around. No. You essentially want to be the controller. You need to control games against Newcastle to stand a chance. Man United went to this game, and all of a sudden, I had issues with Erik ten Hag and how he started the game. How do you go in with Anthony from on the bench? You have Kobe Mainoo, you have Luke Shaw, you have Harry Maguire. Then you go long. You need to play through them. You need to have control. You need to be calm and composed on the ball. That's exactly how you hit Newcastle. And that's how Chelsea played in the first half. They came into the second half. They threw control to them. They went into the dogs fight with Newcastle. And you can't win. They played a high-octane football, especially in front of their fans. They are literally impossible to outplay. So you don't go there playing that kind of football. They did that and they're in trouble. In fact, they were suffocated. They literally did not have breathing space, and in the first time, Newcastle should have gone up by 3-1, and that's the problem of Erik ten Hag. You need to control the game. In the second half, where he brought on Anthony, I know on Twitter a lot of people have issues with Anthony, but I've said that he's not your most aesthetic player. He's not aesthetically pleasing, but there's something that he brings into the field of play, and I think it's the tempo control that he brings in. People constantly talk about how much he pauses and all of that. It's because he has to control the tempo. It's the job that he does. He needs to slow down the game. Yes, the fact that he's not a very good 1v1 dribbler, that's exactly why he's a better tempo controller. The best tempo controllers are not the best 1v1 dribblers in there. So, but I think that this is a game where Erik ten Hag actually lost. And you see, one of the big things is that nobody works as hard as Newcastle. No team in the English Premier League works as hard as Newcastle. They work so hard. They work relentlessly hard. And that's exactly why they tend to be getting the successes. Look at the number of distances that Anthony Gordon will cover. Look at Miguel Almiron. Look at Bruno Guimaraes. Look at Jamal Lascelles. Look at everybody runs. Everybody. Fabian Schär, Luis Miley. And it's not even a 17-year-old boy running helter-skelter as if he has been hypnotized or something. And that's the team that Newcastle have. They chase it. So if you come and you chase them, you can't chase them. You need to control them. You need to have them on the ropes. If not, they are in trouble, and Manchester United didn't have access to that. So Newcastle have done it in 1 week against Paris Saint-Germain, against Chelsea, and against Manchester United. If you don't take them serious, that's your own cup of tea. It's a serious team that Eddie Howe is building at Tyneside, and you need to take them serious. You need to take them serious. And tomorrow, there are big games in the English Premier League. Chelsea will be playing Man City, Spurs, Liverpool, Fulham. We'll bring you the preview in the morning. But this is where we draw the curtain for tonight. This is Fiifi-Manfred on YouTube. If you've not subscribed, do it, subscribe.